This is part 2 of the Clickteam Fusion 2.5 platformer tutorial. So this is what we left off from last time, and we're going to be making enemies and making the player shoot bullets. So you want to right click and press active. And then you want to drag it over to your character and then right click it. The first thing we're going to be making is the bullet. So I'm going to make a nice, somewhat bullety object. And I'm going to crop this so it is smaller than what is the usual 32 by 32 box ratio you usually get. And I'm going to make this even smaller, and the way I'm going to do that is the resize button, proportional, make it around 60. Oh wait, that's wrong. That's probably wrong. You know what? Just I'm gonna resize this to 32. This is gonna be the bullet that our player shoots. We might edit it on later on, but for now this is a good placeholder. So I'm gonna drag it off to not the play area, which is this, and I'm going to rename it to bullet. Now once you've done that, you want to go over to your event editor and select joystick, read joystick state, and you want to deselect this and press fire button 1. You want to right click on the player and on this column. You want it to launch an object, and it has to be the bullet using the direction of player, and let's set it at 50. So now once you press shift, actually I should probably change that. I'm going to right click and press replace. It's going to be the keyboard. Upon pressing a key, it's going to be control. I always get those confused. And then now our jump should be shift and curl should be shoot. If you wanted to edit, oops, that's not good. If you wanted to edit, you could right click on this check mark and press edit. And what I'm going to do is make it more centered, so launch in the direction of this player, and I'm going to change the X to 216 because that gives a approximation of the middle center. So I'm going to press OK, and that should work as expected. Well, I guess I'm going to use the other way then. So now that our player has a shooting bullet, that should be slightly better. Now, what we're going to do with our player is we are going to drag him down here and put our bullet under the play area so it's not accessible or seeable whenever playing the game. Now we're going to insert a new object, an active, and let's place it here. What this active will do is be our enemy. We're going to right click it, select all, delete, go over to our assets, select our enemy character, and then go over here, paste him in, fill up those empty spots. And let's do what we did last time with our player character. And here we have our enemy. And I'm going to rename him to Bad Guy. And when we spawn him in, he doesn't do anything. He can't really do anything. We just kind of pass through him. And what we want him to do is go back and forth in an endless loop. So we're going to make him start here and give him a 4-block transition. So we're going to go over to type, go over to path, and edit path. Now these are called nodes, and what you do with them is it specifies where the character or object should go in this movement setup. So if we try what I have right now, which is a straight line going from here, the 4th block, back to where he was, we're going to loop the movement, reverse at the end, and reposition the object so it doesn't get confused. And what it does is this. Might be a little fast, and this never works for me for how fast it goes, but on the speed, we're going to press OK, go over to our event editor, and press new condition. Collision with our player and the bad guy results in restarting the current frame, which would be the essential dying aspect of it. Now we're going to press new condition, and if bullet collides with the bad guy is destroyed. By the way, you might want to right click and go down to destroy on your list here in this column and restart current frame on that column. Another way you could do this is drag and drop it over, which is pretty good to have and much more easier on my part. Now what should happen is that our enemy moves back and forth. If we shoot it, it disappears, but the bullet doesn't go away. So we're gonna also have to destroy the bullet. So now, what should happen? Man, I've dragged in the wrong area. You always want to make sure if you have it in the right column, because that always screws me up time to time. And while we're at it, we might as well put his speed much lower than what it is. So you want to go to always over here, right click on the bad guy, go down to movement, set speed, and instead of it being to 50, let's put it at 25. So now he goes much slower. And once we shoot him, he disappears, or dies rather. Now if you look in the assets PNG, there is this block right here. What this block will do is be essentially as what is the grass block. So if we go over to Clickteam Fusion and go over to our frame editor, and we can drag down our ground, right click and clone object. And you want to do this in 2 rows and 1 column. That'll make ground 2 as it pops up on the side, and you want to delete ground 1. And if you delete ground 2, it just disappears. You have to do it again. So we're going to rename this to box. And now we have to double click the box and paste in our texture. Now that our texture is in, we can just start assembling with this already. So now I have these 2 enemies over here, blocks here, and ready for jumping over. But that's not possible yet because we haven't programmed anything in for them. So we're going to go to our event editor, select our number 1, which is our collision between our player and our grass block. We're going to copy it with Control C, go over to collision over here, press the number 7, and paste with Control V. And now what we need to do is replace the ground block with the box block. And how we do that is we right click this icon, and then we highlight and double click our box icon. Now what it should do now is whenever the player collides with it, it also stops it. The same with the grass block. Our boxes are all set up. You can go ahead and start making level designs and such. Now that you know how to extend the frame virtual size, can now assemble more and more of a level. And with these bad guy icons, you want to make sure they're 4 blocks apart if you're going to put them together. And you can always adjust the jumping maneuver, or the gravity or the strength of your character over there. You can always adjust the speed or the path movement or how far the blocks go on the bad guy player. Now there's one last thing we need to implement, which is a way to get to the next level. So now I'm going to make it so it stops. Give me a second. So I'm going to make it so it ends right here. So I'm going to insert a new object, drag it over to here, double click it, and just make it all black. And the way you want to do it is press the outline button on your box icon and just scroll all over it. You know, I'm going to put 2 of these like it's a door, and go over to our event editor and run collisions with another object, which will be this active. Go to the next frame, and we have to go back all the way to our storyboard editor, if you remember that from part 1. Go here, right click and clone. Now this could be your level 2, and you could change whatever you want. So I could put So this could be level 2. And I'm just making this as an example. So now that this will be our level 2, since I cloned it, and the way to do that is just right click this and clone. You can also rename this way, as well as in this workspace toolbar, which you can right click and rename. So this could be level 1, and this could be level 2. And I'm just going to delete more of this. So now what should happen when we start run application, which can be achieved either way, which runs the whole thing instead of just one frame. We should be able to navigate through a level. And we go to the next level. And if you're all out of frames, the application just escapes. And this is it for my Clickteam Fusion 2.5 tutorial. I hope this helped.